Welcome, finally, to Behind the Mask. I'm your host, Sarah Joy, your friendly neighborhood interrogator turned clone, helping you get to know who the person is behind the screen name. Tonight, we're chatting with Mark Eberhardt. You may know him as our bearded leader. Hi, Mark.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm okay. Getting a little tired of computers.
Right. We had a couple technical difficulties, but we're hanging in there. We're doing this more recorded than we are live, but that's okay. We're still getting you the information, which is important. So, tell us a little bit about you, Mark.
I am an illustrator and the host and creator and producer of Nightcast Creative's two podcasts, The Otherplace and Coruscant Nights. I'm actually also producing, this one's a secret, nobody knows this one. I'm
Oh.
producing a podcast for a game company that we will, I'm sure, talk about at some point later.
Oh,
But it's just
really?
little short snippets about what makes games.
So, about what makes games games?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Can you disclose which the gaming company is?
Yeah, so you can find it. There's only one episode available now, but you can
Mhm.
find it on Spotify, most places currently. And it's through the um, online gaming company Sovereignty. It's
Cool.
SOVRANTI. And so what
Oh,
they do, I do a lot of graphic design work for them, and then they just asked me to do this audio bit because I do the podcasts.
and they were
Um,
like, "You have the most amazing voice in the world, and we just want to listen to you."
well, yes, thank you. So they have this blog that they come out with a couple times a month, and in it they write about what makes games, just like short 4-minute reads about conventions and gamers and finding the right place and time to game.
I love
So
that.
basically, it's just a little mini podcast of me reading those blog posts.
So it's your voice behind their
Yes,
words.
my
Do you
voice,
ad
their
lib?
words, only when necessary.
Did you just pick up a cat?
Yes, that was Juniper.
Hi, Junie, I miss you. Um, that's awesome. That's a cool gig.
Yeah,
Are you gonna maybe post it in the show your work section of Nightcast Creative's Discord channel?
I could,
Shameless
yeah.
plug.
I've got a couple more episodes I've got to do this week, some a backlog of blog posts. So once those are up and it's
Sweet.
got a couple things for people to listen to, I'll post it.
Yeah, because we all go through your podcast like so ridiculously fast.
Well, you're going to go through these ones really, really fast because they're 3 to 5 minutes long.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to binge that sound. Okay, awesome. I can't wait to hear those. That's going to be amazing. So, we already got into some interesting tidbits nobody knows about. How do
Yep.
you think the muggle world or the non-magical world perceives you?
Um, so I have these neighbors, and I know
Yes.
this because I'm always sitting right here at my desk doing my work from like 8 o'clock to 5 or 6, sometimes later when I'm working on podcasts. But
Hmm.
I can see that they never leave the house, and I'm pretty sure they can see that I never leave the house. Uh, yeah, so I'm the weirdo who never leaves his house because he's doing design and artwork for game companies.
Are they like on level with you or are they
No, they're
down?
down. I can,
Ooh.
yeah.
Do you ever like wave to them and see if you can get like a camaraderie going?
I've never met them.
But you know all about them and their habits.
Yeah, they've got a very large dog.
Uh-huh.
They never leave their house.
Yeah. What did you
They
name the
leave their
dog?
house about as much as I do. You know
Okay.
what? I haven't come up with a name for their dog yet.
We should come up with a name for their dog.
I,
That's the content everybody wants to hear.
yes, that's what everyone wants to hear. It's a very large dog and it's very hairy. And I won't go into the gruesome details, but I've seen it get very dirty. Uh, I would call it Big Stinky.
Big Stinky.
Yeah.
Aw, Big Stinky, BS for short.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Good. I'm gonna occasionally try to check in on the neighbors now for like ever. I need to know everything that's going on. I also never leave the house,
Hmm.
and I know all of the gossip
Hmm.
around here. So, well, that'll be another talk show. Tell me about your neighbors.
Yeah. Working from home. What are your neighbors doing today?
Right. My neighbor also works from home, and she lets the dogs out at certain times. Yeah. So, anyway, do you game?
Board games.
Any kind of games?
Don't play. I barely play video games.
Hmm.
Um, I've played like Zelda games. Uh, but yeah, most of the games I play are board games, card games, that sort of thing.
What? Oh, I know. So in the last recording, we had talked a little bit about the board games that you're involved in,
Hmm.
which are obviously your favorites. You want to drop a little knowledge on that?
Yeah, so we've got Hedgehog Hop, which released maybe a year and a half ago. Um, in Hedgehog Hop, you are playing Rival Hedgehog Dance Cruise, and basically you want to line up your cards so you're dancing with as many people as possible, and the person who makes the best crowd of dancers at the end wins. And all of the characters are hedgehogs. That's the most important part.
I have the game and it's really cool. I love the art.
And the other one is Mouse Cheese Cat Cucumber, which kickstarted 3 months ago. Um, really crushed its goal too, which is really cool. It is a hidden role maze building game. So everybody's working together to build this maze, but all the characters want the maze to look different when it's done. The mouse wants to get the cheese, the cat wants to get the mouse. The cheese is Swiss, it's neutral, so it wants everybody to get along. And the cucumber is like the avatar of chaos and wants everybody to get everybody else. They all have secret abilities and different ways you can build and shape the maze.
That sounds super fun. I did not kickstart that one. I kickstarted Hedgehog Hop, but I wish I would have kickstarted that one. I kept meaning to do it and didn't get a chance.
I'm sure you'll get a copy at some
I
point.
was gonna say, I feel like I might know a guy
You
who
might.
can maybe get me into that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And who makes those games?
Those games are made by Fight in a Box, and they're
Fight
in
in a box.
Minneapolis.
Nice. I like
Yep.
it. Fight in a box. It
Yep.
seems like there's a lot of gaming that comes out of
Oh,
Minneapolis.
yeah. Yep.
Nice. Sweet. So you're working for Sovereignty and
Hmm.
Fight in the Box,
Hmm.
and you're full time running Nightcast Creative by yourself.
Yeah.
You're doing a couple things. So going back to do your game, you like board games.
Hmm.
What is your favorite board game? Are you looking at all your board games?
I'm looking at the ones I've set aside to bring to Buffalo next week.
Nice.
Um, and I think I've got two of them set aside that are favorites. One is Illimat.
Okay.
So that one, the most important thing about that one is um, the art is by Carson Ellis,
Mhm.
who is a uh, wonderful artist and illustrator, and it is basically a card game, but a little bit more complex. You've got sort of you've got a cloth board that's set up in seasons, and you can play certain cards in certain seasons, and you're trying to get as many summer cards as possible and trying to get as few winter cards as possible. But there are a lot of ways to score points in that, and I don't know, I think it's a pretty interesting game.
Yeah, that sounds fun. What's the
Yeah.
other one?
Gloom.
Gloom? I don't know that one.
So in Gloom, you play a family.
Mhm.
I like Gloom a lot because uh, it's really, there's a lot of storytelling. You
Mhm.
you can get as creative as you want with it. You could play it where you're just playing cards on your family members, or you could play it where you play a card and that card dictates a story. And then you can tell that story. And then when somebody else plays a card, they can elaborate on your story. Basically, you've got a family in front of you, and you want them to be as unhappy as possible, and then you
Okay.
want them to die.
Oh, I like it.
So playing the right cards with the right like negative point values in the right order, and then adding an untimely death on top. Um, that's that game, but with a lot of storytelling.
So you're murdering a family.
Yeah, or
Ugh.
making your rival families as happy as possible.
Oh, so it's you by yourself telling the story to your family,
Yeah.
like not your actual family, but
Sometimes, yeah.
your little
Sometimes the
game
other
family.
families get involved with each other, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There could be a circus, and maybe somebody saw some ducks at the circus and got really happy, but somebody also got mauled by a bear.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Creative storytelling and murder and mayhem. It's what,
Yeah.
you know, all role-playing games are about.
Hmm.
So it's a role-playing game
That's
and a
right.
board game.
Yep.
I like it.
Those are both
Uh
games that I can get my family interested in too, which is nice because it's hard to get some of them to play games.
okay. Yeah, I find that finding those games that really help people engage on a different level is just really cool.
Hmm.
Good on you for finding one of those. So what was your first game that you played?
First game that I played like ever.
Yeah, why not?
Probably Guess Who. I mean,
Okay.
that's the first one I can really remember.
Uh-huh.
Guess Who?
And did you have a
Um,
beard then?
yes, I was 6. I had a beard. No, I did not.
Okay.
I had lots of hair.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, Guess Who? It's still not like the worst game, but
Uh-huh.
it's not the best game. A lot of those games that you grow up on don't age well.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Interesting. So, what got you into role-playing games?
Um, so in I think it was 2016, uh, Star Wars started up again,
Hmm.
and I kind of took a break from Star Wars. I don't know, nothing new was really coming out between uh, the end of high school and the end of past the end of when I was in college.
Hmm.
And when the new movies started coming out, I got really excited again and really into it like I was when I was a kid. And the idea of a role playing game had sort of been floating around in my head around that time, and um, I found the podcast Dice for Brains.
Okay.
And through that podcast, I got introduced into the Star Wars role playing game and the amount of creativity that you could have with it, and kind of learned the rules a bit from that, and picked up a book. And yeah, that's where it all started.
That's awesome. And when did you start the Coruscant Nights podcast with the role playing?
2 years after that,
Oh, wow.
maybe 2018.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was winter. It was the first episode came out on the winter solstice. I think it was 2018.
Oh, so right before 2019.
Yeah,
Okay. I started
am
listening
I?
in 2019.
Could it have been 2017? I don't actually know anymore.
Oh.
What are years?
What is time?
Who knows?
What's a
It's all
day,
fake.
hour? Yeah. Who counts by that anyway? Ugh. Nice. That's really interesting. So, what got you interested in making a podcast with the role playing?
Uh, it was those other podcasts that I listened to.
Hmm.
Dice for Brains, Force Majeure. Those were the two big ones I was listening to at the time. Um, Force Majeure had been out, I think, about a year at the time that I started,
Hmm.
and I don't know. I thought I had good stories to tell.
I think you have good stories to tell. I've
Apparently, I have okay
enjoyed your
stories to
stories.
tell.
I mean, we keep listening to you,
Yeah.
so That's something. How many overall listens do you have now?
It's at like 32,000.
Jeez, that's a lot.
It's only at like 5 for the other place, but that's been around a lot. It's
Five
it's
whole
it's younger.
listens.
5 listens, yes. No, 5,000.
Okay. Yeah.
It's younger and it's hard to stand out in fantasy podcasts.
God, yeah, that's the truth. So, yeah, that's why I don't make a podcast.
I don't do it for I don't do it for the recognition.
What do you
No,
do it for then,
I
Mark?
do it
What do you
because I
do
like
it
telling the
for?
stories.
You like telling the stories?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's good
Um,
because I like listening to the stories.
that's good. I'm glad to hear it.
So, what is it
Yeah,
about telling stories? Yeah.
what is it about telling stories?
Hmm.
Hmm. Well, I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and I was listening to podcasts before I found role playing game podcasts, and I could never really get into a what are they called? An audio drama.
Hmm.
Like I just couldn't get into any of them, and I kind of thought maybe I could make something like this that I would want to listen to.
Hmm.
Uh, that's part of where it all started. And I think telling stories, I've always had that in me. Uh, when I was in like middle school and high school, I was writing all the time and I had journals and sketchbooks and stuff. And writing and drawing always went back and forth too. Like it wasn't just writing on a page, it was writing with art and that sort of stuff. And that's kind of why I studied kids' books and doing illustrations for kids' books in college. The back and forth between art and story was always interesting to me.
That's really cool. So, what kind of stories were you writing in high school?
I had one about a this was like this was my high school novel. It had a couple hundred pages.
Oh my
It
God.
will never see the light of
I was going
day.
to say, where is it?
No.
We need to see this. What
The
was it
basic
about?
premise
Uh-huh.
was that a person from a technologically advanced civilization
Hmm.
got caught in a storm in his like drop ship or something, washed up on the beach in this medieval on this medieval continent that also happened to use giant uh, biomechanized mechs.
Yes.
Yep,
That's awesome.
it was ridiculous. It was
Can
also like, I don't know, 1999, and it was named Outlander.
Oh my God. Yes. So was this something that you like worked on during class and like study hall and like forever?
I spend my nights typing away or
Oh
or,
my
or
God.
writing. Yeah,
Did you have a GeoCities page?
yeah, I did.
Oh my God. They are no longer up, by the way, because my
No,
Sailor Jupiter fan page, which was the best of them all, has been taken down.
I had a personal art website portfolio
Hmm.
in like sophomore year.
Did it include Outlander?
No, it did
Oh,
not.
do you still have Outlander?
I do somewhere.
Oh, I thought you were gonna look down in it and you're like,
I
this
I
inspires
actually
me.
think it's those notebooks back there. I think it's somewhere in there.
I'm looking at where
Don't
they are in your
no
house so I
stop
can totally raid
stop.
them one day if we ever get to.
RPG prep and high school writings.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God, that's so cool. We're gonna have to take pictures of that and post some of those. It's fun. I found my how about this? I will trade you my fantasy novel, which is like 20 something pages, for 20 pages of Outlander.
We'll see.
That'll be amazing. I have all of my old writing and it's terrible.
I have shelves and shelves of sketchbooks. I have kept every sketchbook, and I started doing keeping sketchbooks probably when I was in 7th grade.
Oh my God, I love that. Did you know then that you wanted to be an artist?
Oh yeah,
What did you think you were going to do with it?
just draw stuff.
Draw stuff.
That's what I do.
It is, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine that you were going to have like games that are published in a store and like your artwork, people wear it on their t-shirt? I'm not wearing one of the t-shirts. I couldn't find it tonight, but like people wear your artwork on t-shirts?
I wasn't really thinking about games at that point. I was mostly thinking about books, and I guess I didn't really know what. I think everybody who draws and likes to draw characters and that sort of stuff wants to be like a concept artist
Mhm.
when they're in high school, and that's kind of what I wanted. Like, big goal was if I could be a concept artist on for Lucasfilm or something like that.
Ooh. And just I don't know. So I don't know if anybody else doesn't know. Probably everybody like draws wonderfully and stuff, and me and my stick figures. Um, but concept artists, are they the ones that like draw up the storyboards or something else?
So they're like drawing the characters and costumes, the aliens, the ships,
Hmm.
worlds, all that sort of stuff. The people who are just like throwing out tons of ideas to see what will stick with the script and with the other people in production.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah,
I think, yeah, I mean, you can still do it. I think you can work from home and do that. That way you don't ever have to leave your house and you can always find your
yeah, just spying
neighbors.
my neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are
and
they
Big
doing right
Stinky.
now? And Big Stinky.
They've got their blinds closed at this
Ah,
point.
crap. That's okay. I'll go like leave a note and be like, "We're watching you."
Oh yeah, that'll go over well.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So, how has gaming affected your everyday life?
Um, I can pay my bills.
That's true.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, I've met actually some really cool people at conventions, and I've met other people who run actual plays uh, through conventions and stuff. So, um, yeah, that's interesting.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Do you feel like the stories you tell might, I don't know. I'm going to throw out a couple things and you could be like that or like Sarah, you're way off base. What are you talking about? Like maybe the stories that you tell can be healing in some ways, or like the situations you find yourself in help you adapt and think about things differently, or like you like torturing other people and watching them sweat while
Only
you
Nikki Smatters. Um, I think I get a lot of inspiration for the stories that I tell from the world,
Mhm,
and um, more so I think more so these days in the other place, though it's a little bit more subtle.
mhm,
Um, but in Coruscant Nights, we get like little bits of like corporate greed and corrupt cops and all this like the stuff that is the news.
mhm,
So there's a lot of back and forth between what is reality and what is in these stories, and I think I'm like talking about it from my perspective, and I like that's why I like to bring in so many different people, is that everybody has their own perspective on things too.
mhm.
I don't know
Oh,
if that was an answer.
that was an answer. That totally was an answer. So, like, how is the world then coming through in the other place? You had said things were starting to subtly
Spoilers.
come in, huh?
Spoilers.
Oh, we'll save this for later. I will not let you off the hook.
I'll just say a whole lot happens in the next 7 to 10 sessions of the other place.
Nice, nice. Will we ever see Marta again?
Yeah, probably.
The hope of everyone. That's the one question everyone wanted to
Right
ask.
now, it's probably just a cameo, but maybe something bigger in the future.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. No cameo yet. Spoilers. What has been your favorite gaming moment?
Favorite gaming moment. The most memorable moment for me. So, anyone who's listened to Coruscant Nights, um, I hope fondly thinks about every time they open the refrigerator and see a carton of eggs, Sassus and Trask, and their egg heist. That was not the first time I ran the egg heist. So,
What was the first time you ran the egg
yeah.
heist?
So the first time I ran the egg heist was for my group at home that I had at the point at that time.
Mm,
Um, and they had to it was the same thing. They had to get the egg from Kish Ducati.
mm-hmm.
And Kish has his big Wookiee and a bunch of bodyguards and all of that. Um, Nikki, my wife Nikki, was playing a little Polis Mossen. So these characters are like less than 4 feet tall. They don't have a voice box. They can't talk. They are like slight and skinny, and I don't actually remember what her profession was or anything like that, because it never really came into play because none of my players use talents. Um, but
Yeah.
on her roll, in conjunction with the Wookiee, she rolled a triumph. And with that triumph, uh, I when we play, I ask, okay, what do you want to do with your triumph? And she says, I want to trip the Wookiee. Like, okay. Uh, so what happens? Well, I get down on my hands and knees, and this Wookiee's just running at uh, our Twi'lek enforcer, and the Wookiee doesn't look down when he runs up to me, and he trips, and he goes flying off the balcony.
Oh my
That is,
gosh.
he took the enforcer with her, and luckily she had rocket boots. But that is one of my top gaming moments because it's really hard to get my wife Nikki to enjoy RPGs, and she had a great moment there,
Oh, I love that.
tripping the
I
Wookiee. Yep.
Yes, tripping the Wookiee. That'll be be a new euphemism for
Mm-hmm.
something. Tripping the
Yep.
Wookiee. I like that. I love listening to her play. She plays on the Halloween episodes.
Yep.
Um, and just the things that she comes up with are so unique, and I
Mm-hmm.
love the characters that she plays. It's a shame that, she doesn't do it more. She also played in
That's
an off the books game um for the other place
mm-hmm.
that we still have to finish because I need to know what is going on with that lantern.
You're going to hear it on the show at some point soon.
Ah,
This is Juniper, by
hi,
the way.
Junie.
She wants to hang out.
Junie. Can you hear
Um,
me? Am I your favorite? Yes. Junie.
I've been in talks with the people from the Battle Buddies podcast, and we're going to do a player swap at some point, and they're going to
Ooh.
play through that adventure.
I just want to finish it. We can do
We
it.
should finish it.
We'll just not live
It's
play
probably
it.
just one session left.
I know. We're so close.
Mm-hmm.
Ima needs to come back. My favorite
And
character.
Bert.
And what?
Bert.
Bert. All right. So, what do you love about gaming?
I think we've already covered it. It's the stories.
It's the stories.
Yeah. Every time's a unique story.
Mm-hmm.
Whether even when you're playing that same adventure again, like the Lost Lantern of Jonathan Quincy Applegate,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be completely different the second time. You know it's going to be completely different the second time because you
Oh,
played it one time before.
I did, and it was
Yeah,
totally different.
yeah,
And I'm going to hear a third version that's
yeah,
completely different.
yeah. And if you're doing something like that, the Lost Lantern or the Egg Heist, the players are going to make a difference in the story, and they're going to give the GM new ideas to work with, and that's going to influence the next time you play it and the next time you play it. The reason the Lost Lantern was different the second time you played it was because we played it a first time, which gave me ideas to add to the second time. And then when we played it with you and Ben, uh, I've got tons of ideas that I can move forward with in the next version.
As long as ghost tourism sticks in the other place, then
Mm-hmm.
our we've accomplished something.
It has to. It just
Ghost
makes
tourism.
sense.
It does.
Yeah.
You have real ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Why not capitalize on it? I like that. Okay. If there was one thing you could change about gaming, what would it be?
Hmm. I have not really run into issues with my players in the past, but I know that it is a thing. And I would like players and GMs to have, I don't know. It's everybody needs to get along. And I think a part of that is not being a jerk.
Yep.
Uh Sorry, all you jerks out there. Calling you out.
It's
Um
Wheaton's Law.
yeah. So if I would love to uh exercise the demons of racism, sexism, homophobia, everything like that from gaming, which I know it's there. I personally haven't encountered it, but I know it's there.
Yeah.
And gaming would be so much better if nobody had to deal with that stuff.
I think that, you know what? I think maybe if we just take that and we exercise those demons out of the world,
Yeah, just everywhere.
that if we'd be much better too.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. Just a thought. Yeah, I didn't game for a very long time actually because of that. I didn't start gaming until it was about a year after Ben started gaming, which I think he's been gaming for 5 or 6 years now,
Hmm.
or 7. But I couldn't find a group that I felt safe to game in. And
Hmm.
it was, which as a longtime nerd, like, I knew that there were places that were safe for me and places that were not safe for me. And it's an absolute shame
Yeah,
that like we don't always think about that. But I also think that's like what has made what you have created so special is because you do create a place where we can all come and everybody is very different.
hmm,
Everybody comes from different walks of life, different backgrounds, but we can all play this game together in a safe space facilitated by you, which I
I try.
appreciate.
That was kind of my goal starting out. Um, the whole idea behind Coruscant Nights was to, like, in Star Wars, you've got all of these characters, and every single character, whether they are like uh, Snaggletooth in the cantina, he's got a backstory. Those
Hmm.
guys in the pod racers, they've got stories, and I think it's important that we listen to people's stories because everybody has something to say.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. So, with that, God, that transitions really nicely into this. I was like, I'm just going to do it. And then I was like, no, I'm going to point out how well it is. So, what led you to create this amazing community then? Because you could do the podcast without having a
Yeah,
Discord channel.
yeah. Well, really, it started because the other people had Discord channels for their podcasts.
And you're like, well, I guess we got to have one.
Yeah, that's kind of where it started, but it grew,
Hmm.
and yeah, it grew in great ways. And I know there are some people who are not active on it who are here and reading, and everyone's welcome to speak up if they've got things to say.
Yep, we don't make fun of you too much.
Too much.
It's because we love
Just you, AJ.
you. Well, AJ is, speaks up enough that he's top on the leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
Not bitter at all. So, I want to dig more into the community because I find it so interesting that like my experience of Star Wars fans, like being I'm older than most people, not Andrew. Um, but my experience with Star Wars fans growing up was it was really like dude bro ish and really
Mm.
like, oh, well, actually, if you don't know this obscure fact, you're not really a fan kind of thing. But like, you've created a community where it's not like that and where, a Star Trek fan can come in and like talk about cool Star Wars stuff and
You could
nobody
totally
is
talk about Star Trek too.
I will talk about Star Trek.
Nobody's gonna get mad.
No,
Some people
right.
might get mad.
How'd you
I
do
won't get mad.
that?
Um, I think a lot of it comes from making friends with the other podcast hosts,
Okay.
and like um, Adam and Andrew and Sam and Dwayne. Everybody's got uh, their own like groups of people that follow them around, and I just get to grab all of them for myself.
You take the best parts of their
I just take
groups
the
and
yeah,
put it in your
that's right.
group. That's awesome. So we'll blame the other podcasters. I don't think that's all it. Like it's been my experience with community that the person who's in the lead really sets the tone.
Mm.
So you have set a tone here, my friend, and it's a really cool community.
It's probably goes. So when I look at my podcast stats,
Mhm.
uh, if you look at the first episodes, which this
I
is going
have
to happen with
listened to
any
them.
podcast, uh, the drop off from the first episode to the second episode is huge. So that first episode just weeds people out. That's what it is.
The first episode, those were two individuals who had
R-
never played
Yeah,
RPG.
yeah.
I thought that
Along with
one
one
was
individual who had never
great.
made an RPG podcast.
I thought it was great.
They did.
Like,
Yeah, they did great.
yeah, it was a really good story. That's when I was like, oh, I guess I'll keep listening to this. So,
Hmm.
also Ben was like, you've got to hear Nikki on this podcast. So, but I listened to
There's
all
more
of them.
carp coming up.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. We all need more carp in our lives.
Ridiculous carp coming up. Nobody will ever believe her about what happened that day.
Oh my goodness, I'm so looking forward to that. Oh yay. All right, I have more questions for you.
Okay.
Um, so what is one thing about you that you wish people knew? I'm here to ask the hard-hitting questions.
That is a very difficult question.
Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know. I'm thinking of all the things that I've done that people here don't know about, but
Hmm.
it's also like fine. It's fine that you don't know about that. You don't need to know about Jeremiah Schuneberg.
What is Jeremiah Schuneberg? You've said it.
Jeremiah Schuneberg is a time traveler.
Okay.
Jeremiah Schuneberg exists through a collection of artifacts associated with him.
Ooh.
I am no longer in possession of most of the artifacts, but they included uh, items taken, items from different points in time, photographs uh, of him and his family, and really it was almost the precursor to Coruscant Nights because it was a very convoluted story that had a lot of connections.
So is this a story that you wrote?
No, it was just stuff. It was a collection of items
Okay.
with a story behind it
Uh-huh.
that you could pull the story together from the items.
How, tell me more about this. Like, is this, what is this? Is
It
this a way to tell stories?
it,
Is this,
it was somewhere between art and storytelling. That
oh
was
my
what I was
goodness.
going for, but
Uh-huh.
uh it didn't like catch anywhere. Nobody really cared.
Was it posted somewhere?
Yeah, I think I had a section of my website, and I had a blog of the person who was archiving these items.
Mm-hmm.
It
Does
was
this
a
exist
story within a
anywhere?
story within a story. It does not exist anymore anywhere.
Oh man. I was gonna try to Google it. That I like that. That's cool. And we'll say that's one thing that we wish people knew about. What else? Something about you.
The blog still exists.
The blog still exists? Oh my
It
goodness.
does.
Can you post that?
I can.
You
I will
can't?
at some point. I can. I
Oh,
will.
you can. Okay. I was like, why not?
I can't right now because it'll mess up
Okay,
our
yeah.
video.
Don't post it right now. Let's not mess this up. This is we've done well.
Take
We've
two.
gotten
Yeah.
this far. I know, right? Way to still answer the questions. All right. Drunkle Grog had a good question that I actually wanted to pull up and get on le record. So, so what's going on in the chat right now is since they can't hear us since we're recording on Zencaster, AJ has decided that this is Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh boy.
So
Great. I love
Joy
it.
logged on. So AJ is doing you, and Joy is doing me, saying what's going on right now.
Great.
So this is going to be amazing. Joy said, I think Sarah just asked him if he enjoys tacos. Mark, do you enjoy
Yes.
tacos?
Absolutely.
They're the best. Oh, good, because um, AJ said, why, yes, I do particularly. The tacos have stuff inside them. Because did you know a taco with only cheese is a quesadilla?
It's true.
Oh my gosh. We're going to have to get the scripts of this and post it.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be so good. Oh my god, I love it. All right, let me scroll back up to Drunkle Grog's question here. Dip a dip a dip a dip. Doop a doop. I like to do my own hold music while I am doing this. Other than yes, do 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 do. My favorite question: who do you like more, Sarah Joy or Ben?
No comment.
Which one is evil?
Sarah Joy.
We all knew that. That's a gimme.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
So Drunkle Grog would like to know, how do you track the complex plot? Because you do have a lot of things
Uh,
that weave in and out of each other. It's like the references back not only in Coruscant Nights, but like in the other place. Like it's insane.
um, the other place I feel like I actually have more to keep track of.
Hmm.
So I have a wiki that I don't share. It's just mine. No. Coruscant Nights is 95% in my head.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a photogenic memory?
No,
How do you do that?
I don't know. I just do.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's all in there. Um,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, a lot of the connections, like most of them are intended. Most of them I know that they're going to be there when I start out, but a lot of them just pop up and like, oh, that's a great place for Wedge Nosul to be sitting reading a book. So he is there tonight.
I like that. Oh my gosh. So, what area have you created, specifically like in your head, because apparently 95% of it is there, my gosh, that the characters continue to miss, but you really want them to see?
See, TC44 isn't just a character. TC44 is me with the Mind Palace, I guess. It's all there. I just have to remember it. Um, what place exists but hasn't shown up?
Yeah, or that you keep trying to get characters to go over and they miss. The April Fool's episode, it was my favorite with the egg heist that never happened.
The other egg heist.
The other egg heist that never happened.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. Most of the places that I've got have been explored. Like even the ones that I'm thinking of, the more obscure ones, like Sunrider Stadium, as it was in Carpenclorin, I think.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, there's a new Mandalorian district that has maybe been mentioned but never visited, but that's okay because I don't really have very much there.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think most of the places that I've mentioned or that I have thought about have shown up in one way or another.
So now I'm curious, how much time during the day and or night do you spend thinking about Coruscant Nights and the world?
Surprisingly little.
Really?
Yeah, I tend to think about it when I edit, and I think about it when I re-listen to things because I do re-listen to things once in a while. Um, and in the little bit of prep that goes in before a game. Um, but yeah, I've been running the games in this world for over 2 years now. I kind of just know how it works. The
Wow.
other place on the other hand, is
Hmm.
like I think about it all the time.
Really?
Yeah,
Me too. I want my notebook back.
it's right here. I could show it to you.
I miss it. I want to write things in it. I need to write things on that story. There's a story.
More
Nobody
theories.
needs to know about it. More theory. Yeah. There are so many theories. My roommate was, we watched TV together, and like I'm constantly like, oh, that person's gonna kill that person. She watches a lot of British mysteries, or like that person's having an affair with that person, and blah blah blah. And she's like, I've noticed that about 90% of the time your theories are wrong, but about 10% of the time they're right. And I was like, yep, that's what I'm shooting for.
Good old 10%.
That's right. That's right. So I know of all the theories I've thrown out there. So that's next question. Of what theories did I throw out there were correct?
What theories have you thrown out there?
Oh my God, all of them.
I am not at liberty to say.
Ah, that's all right. That's all right. So question coming in from the chat. Um, this is great. It just goes. Who are your two favorite players you have had on so far and would love to keep around forever?
I feel like you're making me choose a favorite child.
Oh, I like that. So we're all equally wonderful.
Um, Everybody has been great. I have not had a player that I did not enjoy playing with. Um, my some of my favorite games have been with Joe,
Hmm.
who played Trask,
Yes.
and Erica, who played Connie.
Hmm.
And I would like to see them both come back,
Nice.
potentially together.
Joe and Erica,
That'd be fun.
do you hear that? They need to listen to this talk show to find that out. That's good. That's awesome. What was it about those games that you enjoyed so much?
Joe's really good on his feet.
Mm.
He
Oh my God, yeah.
knows where the humor belongs, and um, is also able to do very serious stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think with Erica and hearing her on Dice for Brains and on Dicey Cantina, um, there's always just like a level of earnestness for her characters. Like I believe in her characters.
Hmm.
You believe that they're real and you want them to succeed.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. So, if you could choose anyone in the world, not living or dead, let's do currently alive right now, to come play a session on your podcast, who would you choose?
Ellen Tudyk,
Oh my God, yes, okay. I mean,
the
like,
easiest question you've asked tonight.
why? I know why. Why?
Um, because I just really enjoy Alan Tudyk and his sense of humor and the characters he plays. Uh, yeah, I think he's just great.
Alan, we know you're watching this talk show. This is Mark officially extending an invitation. If you would like to come on Coruscant Nights, we know you're a giant fan and you've just been waiting to be asked.
Mm-hmm.
You have been asked. Oh my goodness. Yes. All right. We are two questions away from the end. We've had a really long night
Mm-hmm.
redoing this twice.
It'll work better next time.
That's you know what we're trying, we're working it out, and I
Yeah.
I think the folks are really going to enjoy getting to know you better. I have, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to that blog about the story within a
I'm
story
looking
within
at
a
it right
story and
now.
the time traveler.
Yeah,
Yeah, and getting a look at Outlander.
we'll see. I don't know about that.
I'm so here for that. All right, so important question.
Mm-hmm.
If you were a sea kangaroo, what color would you be and what sea would you live in?
I think I would be uh, 90s colors. So like um, fuchsia triangles on a white field with teal zigzags, maybe some black outlines on those.
Yes, okay.
And I think I would dwell in the sea of forgotten memories.
Oh, oh my God, that's so good. That's so good. And which memories do you think you would visit the most often?
Hmm. I think I would visit first memories the most often.
Ah, okay. That is interesting. Mm. It's so good. It's so juicy. It's so juicy. All right. So, where can we find you on the interwebs? Obviously, we can find you all the time here in the Nightcast Creative Discord. If you are
Yep.
not a member, go ahead, and I'm sure that the information is somewhere on the
It's
YouTube channel.
everywhere.
It's
Yep.
everywhere on the YouTube
Everywhere.
channel.
It's all over
Come
the
join
internet.
us. It's a lot of fun over on the Discord. Where else can we find you, Mark?
You can find my art and illustration at markeberhardt.com. And you can find everything you want to know about the podcasts and the worlds that they exist in at nightcastcreative.com.
Yes. And you can join the Patreon. I am a
You could,
member,
if you want. Yeah, you
and
get
you
some
get
good
cool.
stuff.
It is good stuff. It is good
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
We
Bonus
have 2 updates
content.
this week.
Were there?
There will be.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah,
like, I've missed something.
yeah. No, we're gonna have 2 sets of outtakes this week.
Sweet. Two
Yep.
sets of outtakes. I think it's worth it for the outtakes, and you get the they're the non-censored cussing.
Yes, that's true. Yep.
I've done really well this episode.
And you also get my insights on those connections that are somehow making their way across my brain.
Oh yeah. So we can find out what is in the 95 percentile of Mark's brain.
See what I don't have to look up.
Right. Although I still want to see the Otherplace wiki. I'm hoping that
We'll
at
see.
some point maybe that drops on the Patreon.
Mm,
Maybe little sections of it.
we'll see.
Yes.
Bits and
Yes.
pieces, maybe. We'll
Bits
see.
and pieces. I'm here for that lore. That lore is deep.
It is, and it's pretty secret right now
Oh man,
because they're just discovering. They're just stepping their toes in.
that's so good. I love it. I love it. They'll hear this later. They've actually, so this whole time, um what are you
They're just
looking
having
at it?
fun.
Yes.
I'm not looking at what they're writing,
Do
but
you
I'm
like
just
eating
noticing
with
that
your
they're still here.
fingers or a fork? It's so important. Some people think you only use your fingers. Some say you only use a fork. What is your personal take?
I prefer fingers,
Oh yeah, finger foods.
if possible.
Hmm.
Not macaroni and cheese. Can't do that.
Yeah, it's a
I mean, you could.
little messy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. They have absolutely loved our facial expressions tonight. So, for those of you who had to watch this with no sound, kudos to you. I've enjoyed reading through what you're saying that we're saying. Um, we are going to, I'm going to skip to the end now. We are going to have more episodes. Hopefully, we'll have all the sound worked out by then. And, I might actually look something up on the internet and help poor Mark here. Uh, I'll
It
just
worked
feed it
last
to you.
time.
Yeah, I know it worked last time. I don't know why. Next month, we actually have Joy, who is in the chat right now, pretending to be me. Um, she will be joining us for Behind the Mask. And the month after that, we have Dwayne. And I'm very excited about that. I'm going to say it like that, Dwayne. Dwayne, who is working on a really cool super secret project that I
Oh
get to be a
yeah.
little background voice in. So he's going to be here. If you would like to be featured on Behind the Mask, just shoot me a message over on Discord and we'll get you in the lineup. Mark, thank you so much for being here and for
Yeah.
being open and honest with us about your wonderful 7th grade drawings that I'm really looking forward to seeing
We'll see.
at some point.
Thanks for the questions. Thanks for having me.
Hey, absolutely. Thanks for having me on your channel. And until next time, friends, I'm Sarah Joy, and this is Behind the Mask.